It's time for To the Max Sports, where we talk about sports. They're just two guys, Max and Drew, in a bar talking all things sports. Well, without the bar. And the beer. Wait, why aren't we in the bar?
All right, folks, y'all know what time it is. Time for To the Max Sports. How's everybody doing this evening? Brother Bob?
I'm doing good.
Max?
Yeah, I'm a little sore still.
We got a new co-host here. Very photogenic, but doesn't talk much.
What's his name?
That's our fourth dummy. There's already three of us.
Wow, that dummy needs some jaw work done. Or has already had some jaw work done.
But look at the eyebrows. He's had some face work done.
Somebody knows how to draw eyebrows. I'm a little scared now.
It wasn't me.
It's my handiwork. Full disclosure.
What's his name?
We haven't given it a name yet.
Okay.
We'll think of something. So, guys, what's up?
It's another Thursday. We're rolling into a absolute blockbuster of an NFL Thursday night football game. Indianapolis and Denver.
Yeah.
And a blockbuster college game day coming up. We'll talk about that, but let's run through baseball.
Okay.
Then we'll run through some football, pro, and then some college football, and kind of take it from there.
Yeah, let's talk about baseball. Aaron Judge hits his 62nd.
Pretty cool. The rich got richer, the fan that caught it.
$2 million allegedly is what he was offered.
Very nice.
$2 million on the spot.
I say hold out.
Yeah, hold out.
Well, hold out. I mean, we were talking pre-show about the tax implications.
Some people said the Yankees should buy that off of him and give it to Judge, the ball, as a goodwill gesture towards future negotiations.
But what if he ends up in San Francisco?
Man, I'll tell you what, I didn't realize it, but he bet on himself this year. He said, you know what, I won't take your $200 million. I will play for a new contract. And by God, he went out and did it, didn't he?
But is he really going to be worth it? I mean, I think one of the things that he was resistant to was, I think it was only 7 years. Only 7 years. 7 years, 210, so about $30 million annual value.
We talked about it last week. Give the guy a piece of the franchise. You are now official partial minority owner of this organization. And, let him be. He's a good guy. Can we all agree on that?
Yes.
He'd be a great spokesperson for the organization for years to come.
Yeah, but
Joe DiMaggio.
It's the Yankees. They're not going to do it. They don't put players' names on their jerseys.
Nope. You can't wear facial hair, no names on the jersey. And he's from the West Coast. He loves San Francisco, the Bay Area.
We talked about, I just can't see the Yankees letting him go, but you never know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Never know. What about the fan that attempted, which very high percentage move for the fan that jumped out of the stands just in case that ball slipped out of the slippery hands of a spectator and fell down into the bullpen area?
But he wasn't allowed to be down there. Could you say he was trespassing and actually broke the law and then got the ball?
He could break the law but keep the ball.
Okay.
He was playing the percentages, and sometimes they do work out for you.
We talked about it. What would have happened to that fan had he walked out of the stadium with the ball?
The value of it would have gone significantly down.
And why is that?
Because it wouldn't be authenticated.
Yeah, I learned something this week. The ball had to be authenticated before it left the stadium, which makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, we can't take his word for it.
Yeah. No.
Because he's an investment banker or because he's married to a bachelorette reality TV star?
I think it's the second part.
Okay.
You know, why didn't freaking Tom Brady just catch the ball, you know? I mean, it's always the rich get richer.
Well, wasn't that Gisele's problem with Tom Brady? Hey, he throws a ball. He can't catch the ball, too.
Right.
There you go. You can't do both.
We need that drum machine. I'll tell you, that's our obligatory Tom Brady. We'll get to Tom, I'm sure.
Fair enough.
We're going to get to Jimmy G, too. You can rest assured that.
So let's talk about the wild card.
Yeah,
We're getting
baseball.
Best 2 out of 3 in the higher seeds ballpark. Pretty interesting format.
Yeah. Not sure if I'm totally down with it, but it's all about money. It's all about excitement. We got 12 teams competing. Potentially, what day of the season could be the last game if it goes a full 7?
November 4th or 5th?
November 7th. So we might be scraping snow off of the Yankees field.
November 7th, yep.
Yeah. If you're Seattle, I don't know if you want to be playing that late in the season.
Don't they have a dome?
Seattle?
No.
Mariners don't have a dome?
Do they? I don't know.
I think they do, just like
I think they got one of those retractable.
Toronto.
New York doesn't have a dome.
New York doesn't have it. It'll probably be
Cleveland
in the mid-30s.
doesn't.
Game 7.
Both New Yorks don't have a dome.
That's right. So, the New York Mets that,
New York
again,
Mets, yeah.
never failed to disappoint by winning.
That's the book on them. They collapse.
Weren't they like 12 games up?
We called it a couple of weeks ago.
12 games up, right? Is that what it was?
2 out of 3 games, you put Scherzer and DeGrom on the mound, and you can't win one of them.
I know. Wow. And they competed against Atlanta, and had they just won one more game out of a series against Atlanta, they're in. But hey, they're just going to go the harder route now.
But wait a minute, they won 101 games.
Yeah, and finished as a wild card.
But they needed to win 102?
Yeah, to win their division and get the bye. Now they get to host.
Tough division.
So yeah, so our Friday night matchups, San Diego goes across the country, gets hosted by the New York Mets.
Forget about it. The Mets will have found the formula.
So
Padres can't hit out of a wet paper bag now. Now they're pitching. If the pitching gets hot, you got Darvish, you got a lot of good veterans on that team, solid pitchers. They made some deadline moves to shore up the relieving, but they just can't hit, man. Padres cannot.
Soto? Juan Soto?
Padres cannot hit.
So are you taking the Padres?
Padres cannot hit.
So I think he's taking the Mets.
The Mets. He's taking the Mets. So you want me to write this down?
Yeah, I love the Mets.
So Drew's taking the Mets. Okay.
Soto wasn't the firebrand hitter. He kind of got a case of Padreitis once he got traded. But
they were in a division with the Dodgers. All they could do was lose to the Dodgers. I mean,
they just, the timely hitting isn't there.
Bob, are you taking the Mets?
I have to take the Mets. I get kicked out of Jersey the next time I visit if I don't take the Mets.
What about the Mariners and the Blue Jays?
Mariners on the road to the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, I got to go with Toronto. The Mariners have, if Luis Castillo can get hot, pitcher for the Mariners, he struggled, former Red. I just think with Springer, former Astro, they've got the junior kid.
So, Bob, are you taking Seattle?
No, I'm going to take Toronto. I mean, Seattle, this is the longest drought in baseball, the longest playoff drought in baseball.
Toronto wins the series.
Okay.
I think so.
Led by Springer and Guerrero Jr., isn't it?
And then we have the Phillies on the road visiting the Cardinals with Albert Pujols coming off a historical end of his career.
There's my upset.
Right there, Philly?
You give me starting pitching of Nola and Zach Wheeler with some timely hitting by Bryce Harper and Schwarber, and they were my World Series pick when we started the season. That's my upset.
Okay.
The Phillies on the road.
The Phillies with a bunch of guys that used to play for the Nationals.
So, Bob, are you going with the Phillies?
Yeah, I have to go with the Phillies. I hate the Cardinals. Again, I would get kicked out of Jersey.
Okay.
I'd get kicked out of Cincinnati.
All right, so in the last one we have
Tampa Bay on the road to the Cleveland Guardians.
Man, you know who Cleveland reminds me of? They remind me of an NBA team called the Utah Jazz. They're not sexy. They just turn over players, but they find a way to get in the postseason every year.
Will they move to the next round?
I think they will.
Really?
I'll go with Cleveland.
Okay. I'm going to take Tampa Bay.
All right, that's the one where it's going to decide that because that's the only one. Everything else you guys agreed on, all the other teams. So. Yeah. All right.
Okay. That's where we beg to differ.
Yep. Games start at 11 o'clock Central Time on Friday.
It should be exciting, huh?
I'm excited.
But baseball just doesn't, unless you're a baseball fan like we are, it just doesn't have that excitement of yesteryear. They were talking about with the Judge run, how it just didn't seem as exciting as when Bonds and Sosa and And all those guys, McGuire, were making their run.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if I like this best 2 out of 3. I kind of like the one and done elimination game. It heightens the interest. It heightens the ratings.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what the ratings are for these game ones.
They found a way to mess it up. The one and done was fun. Yeah, that rhymed.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it earlier before we came on. Basketball's about to start. Hockey's about to start. College football's underway. The NFL's underway. They have to put more time into baseball, and I think that's why they kind of made the decision as well. Because if you just do that one and done, who's going to be watching baseball? You got too much out there, so they want to be part of it.
I will tell you this: in a perfect world, and the commissioner's probably crossing his fingers, saying, "Please, please give me the Yankees Dodgers in the World Series, please. Can you do that for me, baseball god?"
We'll see. Might happen.
Moving right along. So we got our picks for baseball. Do you have the college football rankings as they stand right now?
Yes, we do.
Max, we were talking about, I think Georgia kind of got lowballed there. I don't think they didn't have a stellar performance, but I don't think that should have knocked them out of the number 1 spot. Personally.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point in the season, who cares?
Yeah, I mean,
But it's still a pride thing.
I think when it's all said and done, when they do the final, in a couple of weeks, or when the rankings truly come out.
Yeah, I think we're the first week in November, the first CFP.
Week, yeah, it's going to be Ohio State, Georgia, and it's going to be Alabama, and then probably
Take a Michigan.
Maybe Michigan or Clemson.
I was reading an article. There is, according to some of the FPI rankings, there is about a 17 to 20% chance that in the CFP we get 2 SEC teams and 2 Big Ten teams. So we get Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan.
So nothing ever changes?
No.
I'm good with it.
It's, to me, it's quality football. I'll watch it all day long. I like the fact, like we had talked about last year, Texas, Oklahoma coming on board, bring USC to the Big Ten, bring Notre Dame. You're just going to have quality football week in and week out. It only makes it better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, there's people that may beg to differ, the Kansas, the fan, the Baylor fan, because, they kind of get left behind, unfortunately, but that's just the way it is nowadays.
The Pac-12 homer who wants to say that USC is undefeated and deserves a chance.
Yeah.
Let's see. A 1-loss Alabama or an undefeated USC, who you taking?
Of course, Alabama.
2-loss Alabama, undefeated USC, who you taking?
Yeah. And the endorsements, I just saw an endorsement with that kid, Bryce Young. I don't know if you've seen that commercial. Yeah. He's running a commercial now, probably making a lot of money.
But he's got to do something. He's rehabbing that injury.
Yeah.
But I think that's why the whole playoff, because you're not going to have a number 1 or a number 16 beat a number 1. Or is it 12 teams that they're doing?
12 teams.
12 teams. You're not going to have a 12 beat a number 1 or even an 11 beat a number 2. But you might have a number 3 or 4 get upset by a number 9 or 10. You might have that, an Appalachian State.
Still would love to see like a Sweet 16 format. 1 place 16, and then, you could almost have like they do in the
what they're going to do is they're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, sit them out, and then do the playoff. And then with that being said, you could have one of those lower tier teams, low ranked, take one.
Yeah,
that's what they want to see.
It's going to be interesting to see those 5 through 8 teams hosting in their own home stadiums the 9 through 12.
See, that's going to be exciting. But we know that the top 4 are going to end up at the end.
Yeah. At the end of the day, college football hasn't disappointed this year. It's been entertaining.
Yeah. No, and the NFL, to transition to the other football.
Speaking of parity.
Which I call the real football. Last weekend, a great slate of games, up and down the dial, great slate of games.
One guy didn't have a good weekend. Do you have the video?
Yes, I do.
There was one guy that didn't have a good weekend on the NFL.
Well, that's what happens when you do stupid things. I don't have the audio for it. Where's the audio?
Oh, yeah, there he goes. And there he goes.
And
what's funny is the guy's barely running. But what's funny is that's your security. They were running slower than the slow white boy that was running.
Wagner lit him up.
okay,
That's awesome. Hey,
there's a reason why they're working security and they're not wearing shoulder pads.
Wagner lit that guy
you're
up.
part of the field. So Wagner's getting sued?
Is he?
Well, that was a report to the guy.
I probably would sue.
He's gonna try, yeah.
Yeah, because that's not his job.
But I mean, the guy's was that a flare that he had? Just
Oh my
It's
God.
just smoke.
If anybody's listening to us and not watching us, go to YouTube later tonight. And if you haven't seen that, it is freaking hilarious.
I mean, now that I'm watching, I'm wondering, was this a really complicated gender reveal party? I mean, that's some pink smoke there. I mean, look at that. It's a girl.
It's a girl.
Well, nowadays, too, you just never know what, God, if it could be a bioweapon or God knows what. But, man, he lit him up.
Actually, that's one.
Well, they were losing the game. He needed to do something.
They were losing.
Speaking of which, some good NFL games this week.
Really? Which ones?
How about San Francisco and Jimmy G?
Oh, last weekend.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah. No, I was very, very happy with the way that that game turned out.
You're happy with Jimmy G completing 16 passes and marveled at his performance.
Did he lose the game?
Jimmy G doesn't lose you. Well, he can lose you games, but he didn't lose the game.
They won the game. Debo Samuel looked like a cheat code from Madden.
Oh, my God. You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. He has got to be leading the league in receptions after catch.
Yards after catch, yeah.
Leading it?
I think so, yeah.
What a beast. And then if it's not him, it's got to be Cup. Man, these guys catch the ball, and they're gone. While you're looking that up, I got a present for you, Bob.
Is it the mannequin head?
No.
Well, receiving yards, it's Hill, and then Diggs, and then A.J. Brown, and then Cup, yeah.
Actually, no. You're wrong. Samuel is actually third.
Samuel's
But I knew
third?
he had to be up there.
L.A. Chargers, Eckler, 245 yards after catch. This is according to, and NBC Sports. Goddard for the Eagles, 207. Cup's way down there, 163.
So, Bob, I know that you wake up with 49er on your mind. You go to bed with them on your mind. Just make sure you take off your bedroom slippers now. Before you...
These are slippers.
I got you your hat. Now
For those watching on News Channel 5.
Now you got some 49ers bedroom
There we go.
slippers.
There we go. No, I was very happy with that game. The whole slate. Did you see the Patrick Mahomes? I don't know what you call that thing he did, flipping the ball into the end zone, but that was incredible.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's that's where a lot of quarterbacks, or I guess the comparison is how good they are. I don't think we'll ever, well, I haven't seen a quarterback do what he does. I mean, he can flip it without looking, and you can tell he's been practicing that forever. That was a great pass. And that's what makes him good.
I was watching that broadcast live, and the broadcast were saying, it's kind of like when you're a dad and you're playing football in your backyard with your kids. Yeah. Here's the ball. Come on.
He breaks out of the pocket and he makes things happen, man. And he scares defenses. He does. I was thinking about what Bob was talking about with Patrick Mahomes. Right now, I think it's probably we are in the era. Well, I don't know if we'll ever see this again. You're talking about like one of the greatest quarterbacks. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes, what he can do, but also look at what Tom Brady's been doing. I mean, this guy is still accurate. And then you have Justin Hurts right now and Lamar Jackson, what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And then you're looking at probably the biggest quarterback we've seen out there that's the mobile and that can throw and is also accurate is Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. But then you start moving down the list a little bit. I'm thinking, man. And then you got Joe Burrow. And then you also have the kid that I like a lot, Justin Herbert. And you're thinking, man, we got a great right now. We're watching these guys play. I don't know if we're ever going to have some kind of talent as good as this as far as overall.
Yeah, the young talent has really come to the forefront last couple of years.
They have.
Very true.
Which is there's such an importance now on the quarterbacks in the NFL.
And that might be part of the reason, because they're letting them play and they don't want to, poor Tua, but we don't want them to get hurt.
Well, speaking of an NFL quarterback who I think is going to, they shouldn't do this to him. I hope he has a Lloyd's of London insurance policy, but please, can he, if you don't, when you go up to play the Buffalo Bills this week, get a Lloyd's of London. That's not a fair position to put that kid in. I know Pittsburgh fans like to see him. He went 10 for 13 last week in his three. He had 3 interceptions. And then they're going to send him up to the Bills.
This is the biggest dog the Steelers have been since before Terry Bradshaw was drafted.
Minus 14, right?
Minus 14.
That's the only game that I called a guy up and said, give me 50 on Buffalo.
And lay the 2 touchdowns.
Lay the 2 touchdowns. But remember my philosophy. Never give double digits unless it's a bad offense. If it's a good offense, then always take the double digits. But if it's a bad offense, so the scary part is if they eke out a touchdown, it could be 21-0.
Yeah, and that's a crazy thing. Looking at the slate of games coming up this week, we'll get into our picks. There's crap on this schedule. This week is just crap top to bottom. There's one good game.
Well, if you're across the pond, last weekend you saw a good game. Did you see where the kick doinked off the
double doink?
The double doink?
The double doink.
There have been a lot of field goals that have doinked this year. Quite a few of the games.
Tough position to play.
Yeah.
Bob, were you referring to the Bengals and the Ravens?
That is the only good game this weekend.
I'm trying to find. I'm sorry, Drew. I'm trying to find a game. I was thinking, what game is he talking about?
That is the only good game.
Any upsetters, though?
Well, I mean, when you're looking at it, I thought, okay, maybe the Raiders and the Chiefs, but no. Monday night, no.
Nope.
And then the Eagles and the Cardinals, no. Not
nope.
the Eagles. And then the 49ers and the no.
Nope.
Well, maybe the Texans, no. Commanders, no. Really, I mean,
well, they've been
maybe the Falcons, no.
The Falcons at Tampa Bay.
The NFL's been on a run since last year's playoffs, so they deserve to have a week where there's just not a real competitive match.
Yeah, not this week. You don't.
I mean,
have it.
They'll be competitive. I just don't know if I care.
Yeah, now I have to readjust my lineup for fantasy. I have Najee Davenport for Pittsburgh. I might need to take him out.
Yeah, you may want to revisit that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of revisiting, you're 8-5 now, Bob.
What did I go? 2-1 this past weekend? I missed on that Cowboy game.
That was a miss. We missed on the you did miss on the Cowboy game, and I got that one.
Yeah.
But you also missed on the
so I was 1-2.
I think we were 1-2.
Okay.
Because you missed we both missed the Miami game.
Yeah, that was disheartening. That hit that Tua took.
But then I lost. We were both 1-2, I think.
Okay.
Which actually puts you now at that does put you at 8-5, and I'm at 7-6.
Okay, we're still winning. How's Max doing?
Still winning. I think Max went 2-1.
2-1.
We can't forget about Max. He's sitting right next to you.
Who did you have?
I
don't remember.
Down.
So that's in this week.
That's why he has a notepad this week.
Yeah. So Bob is 8-5. Drew 76. Max is 2-1. And then we'll go over the picture in a little bit. But hey, I do want to talk about Tua. I did read somewhere, and I'm trying to look at it. And
it's actually 8-5.
Oh, you're 8-5.
I was going to say he's 8. Bob's 8-5.
8-5, and you're 76. Okay.
Got to be 13.
I was trying to research it earlier because I was talking to Bob about Tua's on medication. I hope I read that correctly. It was probably me because I was taking medication because I had some tooth work this morning. But no, I did see something where Tua took medication, but there's concerns because with the evaluation and the testing done, there was that one release of I don't know if it was the doctor or whoever treated him. They fired
the independent guy.
Yeah, and then now there's reports out there that they're going to be real careful with Tua, but they don't want to rush him back. And the question even came up is, are they going to allow him 2 weeks, 4 weeks? But then if they do, they're keeping their fingers crossed because if he gets hit again, He's probably done for the year.
There's a couple people that have come out and said he should retire because of those hits.
That's it, done?
Like done.
Well,
did they determine whether the first one was actually a concussion?
and
There's
that's
still a lot of debate on whether that was a concussion or not.
that's why I think the gentleman, I don't remember his name. I think that's why he got fired, because it was determined where all the investigations going on, they haven't released it, because I think something's going to happen where the Dolphins are going to be penalized, maybe some fines, money or something.
But NFL players have been gaming the concussion protocol for years. Listen to Alex Smith talk about it. One of the best examples of, he went into the concussion protocol, lost his starting job to Colin Kaepernick, and ended up starting in Kansas City.
Sure. But also you have Tom Brady's wife during the offseason a couple of years ago bring that up, and there was some speculation behind the scenes that he had a conversation with her. Let's kind of keep that quiet a little bit. So, yeah. I mean, if you don't get out in the field.
Well, you got to figure he's got at least 13 or 14 more games. Hard saying when he'll come back.
Yeah.
He's got 10 games. I mean, he gets another concussion, 3 in 1 year.
I think he's done.
Well, that first one, they're saying it was the concussion protocol stipulates that players who have gross motor instability can return if the instability wasn't neurologically related. And that was the conclusion. Now the guy's been fired, so is the implication that it was neurologically related?
That may have been more CYA related.
Yeah.
Well, they're taking Tua on his word, and Tua mentioned that it was his back. So I think they're going to leave that one there. Yeah. So now they're focusing on the one that just happened this past week on Thursday, and they're going to go from there. So I just hope he's okay. But if he does, as Drew mentioned, if he does get another one or even get hit and his eyes start blinking and he shakes his head, that's going to be interesting.
I mean, not that I think that NFL defensive players are headhunting, but does that put a target on Tua's back?
No,
if you know that you can get him out of the game.
I mean, not any more than any quarterback in the NFL.
I mean, this Miami with Tua was looking like world beaters. They really were looking like world beaters. Tua was looking good with Tyreek Hill.
They had some fortuitous wins, if we can be quite honest.
Well, they beat Buffalo.
But if you watch that game, Buffalo totally dominated. But they had the key plays. They made the right plays at the right time. The Baltimore game was handed to him.
For all the followers of Tuanon, we love Tua, and he was playing great. That's our disclaimer.
He was playing way better than for a guy that they wanted to look at off-season offers to trade. Yes.
Yeah. So I think they're talking about implementing in this week that gross motor instability, regardless of whether it's not neurologically related, that they're going to send the player off and go through a full protocol on them. So maybe, but I really recommend, it was on ESPN Daily this past week, Alex Smith talking about his trips through the protocol. And these guys are alpha males. They want to pass the test. They want to get through it. And they're going to do everything they can. So how do you protect them? I don't know.
Well, let's try to protect our picks for this week. Do you want to start with tonight's game?
Tonight's game, the barn burner, Matty Ice traveling to meet Russell. I may have had too many pies at the salad bar last night, Wilson. So we have Denver favored by 3 over the Colts in Mile High.
Wow. Who'd have ever thunk that to begin the season, that Denver would only be a 3-point favorite?
At home.
I mean, my instincts tell me that Vegas knows more than I do, and it's probably a sucker bet, but give me Denver and -3.
You're taking Denver?
Because that should be, in my mind, that should be about 5.
Can I not pick this game?
Wow. Who are you taking, Bob? You know what? I'm taking Denver as well.
Only because I still like Denver's defense.
Yeah, and I'm taking Denver because what's his name's out? What's his name? Taylor?
Yeah.
He's out, and I don't know how the Colts are going to run the ball.
Is Indianapolis going on the road with their cheerleading squad? Can I take the Denver cheerleaders?
Not an option at this point.
Because I'm almost tempted to watch the NBA G League tonight versus this game.
Well, I have to watch it. I have 2 players in fantasy, so
Yeah, I'll take Denver. I'll peer pressure.
So we're all going out on a limb there with Denver.
Just so.
Talk to me about Sunday night.
Sunday night, Cincinnati going on the road.
Yeah, my Bengals are starting to get some primetime play.
Where's that line? Yep. Cincinnati on the road. Baltimore's only a 3-point favorite, according to this line. I thought I saw it at 3.5 earlier.
Yeah, and I just checked it again. It's -3 with the Ravens.
Yeah, 3. Yep.
On this one, I'm going to go with the Bengals on this one. Just, it's not the same thing when I look out there in that defense. I don't see Ray Lewis.
You haven't seen him in 10 years.
Well, in linebacker, I haven't seen, or defensive line. I don't see the secondary. It's just something about the Ravens defense. It's not.
Yeah, it's not good. I know last year Joe B lit him up.
Yeah.
The quarterback for Baltimore,
Lamar Jackson.
With a real Lamar, please stand up. If he comes to play and
I don't think it's the Ravens offense. I think it's the Ravens defense collapsing.
That's why I'm taking.
I mean, the Ravens are gonna sprint out. They're gonna have a lead, and then they're gonna give it back, and the Bengals are gonna win with a last-minute field goal. I'm gonna take the push, but I'll take the Ravens and give the 3. We're all gonna push.
I think it's going to be more like the Miami game where the Bengals win fairly comfortably. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Bengals, and they're getting the points, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Baltimore -3. Yeah.
Yeah, give me the Bengals. Give me the Super Bowl team with 3 points any day.
Okay.
And
then on Monday night,
Kansas City hosting. Is that right? Kansas City's hosting.
Correct. The Raiders.
And Kansas City's only a 7-point favorite.
Do you want the Raiders? Sure. I'm going with Kansas City.
Didn't they have a must-win the other week?
Did they win their must-win?
I know the Raiders. Honestly, in the beginning of the year, it was around June, July. When did that receiver, Devontae Adams, when did he sign? Was it in June?
I think it may have been, yeah.
I said to myself, you know what, Max? I can see the Raiders do it. No, I'm going to take the Chiefs because the Raiders, they're just a mess right now.
Oh, I think we're all agreeing.
They're at Arrowhead.
There's no, is that Arrowhead where there's no differences?
And 7 points.
7 points.
Raiders.
Okay, finally a difference. I'm taking Kansas City, lay the points. The over-under is 51, and I almost want to put a stake in the ground and say Kansas City's going to do the over just by themselves.
You know what? Raider Nation, send me some love. I'm taking the Raiders +7.
I'm not scared of Raider Nation. I'm scared of 2-0. I'm not scared of Raider Nation.
Yeah. No,
I'm going to take the
think,
Raiders +7.
I don't know. I think maybe the last 4 minutes of the game, they're going to sit Patrick Mahomes just because his arm's tired. It's like, Coach, I need to rest for a little bit. So, okay. So
I got to catch up with Bob, so I got to pick something different. Give me the Raiders +7.
You can see how that goes.
All right. Well, the picks are in, and then
picks are in, folks.
Did you want to do one of the questionnaires there?
Yeah, we always like to end the show, if you're still listening, with a sports trivia. So this will test everyone's knowledge. Let's, Max, you want to participate in this one?
Sure.
All right, Bob, you got cards?
I got cards.
So the first one to get one, and then if someone bows out, if you lose one, you're out until.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so I'll do one to Max first. We'll just go.
Okay.
To my left, your right. This is going to be baseball.
Okay.
Max, a long fly hits the right field fence. On the rebound, the ball bounces off the fielder's head and over the fence. There were runners on first and second. Place the runners correctly after this play.
So if there are runners on first and second,
The ball hits, and this has happened before.
the ball
I
hits.
think it was Canseco. The ball bounced off his head.
Yeah, it goes up. So each runner would move one base over or up.
Okay, so he hits the ball.
What?
He hits the ball. It's a home run.
So the ball hits him, and then it goes over the.
If the ball hits the outfielder's head and goes over,
Okay, it's a home run.
it's
Okay.
a home run.
Wow. Okay.
You just bowed out. All right. So Max is out.
All right, I'm
but
out.
you can give Bob a question.
All right, here we go, Bob. Ready? Here we go. Here, I'm glad I have my glasses on. There's a runner on third with 2 outs. The batter, realizing that the runner on third has decided to steal home, backs up, interferes with the catcher, preventing him from running to make a play on the runner. Who's out?
Runner's out.
The runner or the batter?
Runner's out.
The batter is out, and the inning is over.
All you got for the win, baby. Give me a question.
See, I thought the same thing. You know, wait a minute, is that correct? And I had
It doesn't matter. The inning's over.
I
Give me
thought
a
the same
question
thing.
for the win.
Fine.
Just give him a question.
We're going to end up on baseball.
Yes.
The batter hits a 2-hopper to the first baseman who fumbles it, causing it to end up inside his uniform shirt.
Okay.
Seeing he cannot get the ball out in time to beat the batter to first, he grasps the ball through the uniform and tags first before the batter gets there. Is the batter out?
I'm assuming that would be the same as having a glove. So yes, he is out.
Wrong. We all got it wrong. It was not securely held. We suck.
For the love of God. This could go on all night. Let's
We
wrap this
suck.
thing up. Let's wrap it up. Guys, thanks for joining in. Bob, give them all the outlets they can watch us at.
Apple, Google, Spotify, a whole bunch of other places, on the YouTube. If you like, leave a review on the Apple and the Google. Hit that like and YouTube as well.
So there's absolutely no way you can't say that you can watch this venue.
And if you don't like us, go and leave a review on the Dan Patrick Podcast Show.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There you go. That one too.
Until next week, guys.
Thank you.
Oh,
Good
wait.
evening.
Peace out.